everyone, welcome to my channel Crochet Rainbows and Butterflies. Today we are going to learn how to crochet this ruffled coaster. Now before we get started, if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss a crochet tutorial. Now for this tutorial, I'm using 2 crochet hooks. The first one is 3.5 millimeters, and for the last row of this coaster, I will be using 3 millimeter hook. You can use any crochet yarn, but for this tutorial I'm using crochet 4-ply yarn. So let's get started. We begin with a magic circle. Now for those of you who do not know how to work a magic circle, I have a video on that as well. I will leave the link to that video in the description box below. Now once you have your magic circle, you need to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're going to start working the first puff stitch right into this ring. So for that you need to yarn over, insert the hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you need to pull up that loop to the length of your chain 3. Again, yarn over, insert the hook into the circle, yarn over, pull up your loop. Now you have 5 loops on your hook. You need to yarn over, pull through all the loops, and you finish your stitch by working 1 chain. Now that was your first puff stitch. Now we're going to work the second one. For that you yarn over, insert your hook into the loop, pull up your yarn, again yarn over, insert your hook into that ring, pull up your yarn, again yarn over, insert your hook into the circle and pull up your yarn. Now we've done that 3 times. You need to yarn over, pull through all the loops and chain 1. So this is your second puff stitch. You need to have a total of 8 puff stitches into this ring. We finished working 2 puff stitches. You need to work 6 more puff stitches into this ring. After you complete working your 8 puff stitches, you need to work a slip stitch into the chain 3 that we started the row with, right here. And now you chain 1 and you need to cut your yarn. We are going to change the color, and to close this circle you need to pull on to this end, and if you can see, you can close the circle by just pulling on to this side of this end. Now I'm going to join the next color. Now for that I'm working a slip knot. You can join the color with whichever method you like joining your colors, but I'm going to work a slip knot, and you need to go in between the puff stitches. You can pick any stitch, you just need to go in between the puff stitch and join the color. And once you join the color, you need to chain 3. It's 1, 2 and 3. And now we're going to start working the puff stitch right here. So this is the first one. And in the same stitch, the same place where you join your yarn, you need to work the next puff stitch. If you can see that, we have 2 puff stitches right here. Now we're going to the next space here. That's the next space in between the 2 puff stitches. Now right into that space we are going to work 2 puff stitches. 2, 3, again 1, 2 and 3. So I worked the next 2 puff stitches, and you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. So in between each puff stitch of your previous row, you need to work 2 puff stitches in the same stitch. So right here you will have 2 puff stitches. In the next space again 2 puff stitches, and you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. After you finish your row, you need to have a total of 16 puff stitches. And now you need to join your row with a slip stitch right into the first chain 3 that you started the row with. And now you need to work a slip stitch into the space that is in between the 2 puff stitches right here. Right into that space you need to work a slip stitch, and you chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. And again you start working your puff stitch right into that stitch. And you work the second puff stitch in the same space. Now we have 2 puff stitches in the first space here. Now in the next space you need to work 1 puff stitch. Now in the next space we are going to work 2 puff stitches. That's 1, and the second one in the same space. And now in the next space you need to work 1 puff stitch. And now you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. So in the first one we worked 2 puff stitch. In the next one we worked 1. In the next one 2. In the next one 1. And you need to continue by working 2 puff stitches here, followed by 1, then again 2, and then 1, then 2, and then 1. And you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. After you complete your row, you need to join it with a slip stitch right into the first chain 3 that you started your row with. That's right here. And now you need to work a slip stitch into the space that's between the 2 puff stitches. So right into that you work a slip stitch, and you chain 3, and now you chain 2, so that's a total of 5 chains, and you need to work 1 double crochet into that same space. Now into the next space right here, before the next puff stitch, you need to work 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 1 double crochet again into that same space. So it's like working a V stitch in each of these spaces. Now again into the next space right here, that's before the next puff stitch, you work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet into the same space. Now into the next space, right here, you work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet into that same space. And now you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. So between each space of your puff stitches, you need to work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet into the same space. So you need to continue working this pattern right up till here. After you complete your row, you need to join it with a slip stitch to the first chain 3 that you started this row with. And now you need to work a slip stitch in the chain space and chain 3. And now you need to work 7 double crochets in the same chain space. Start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now counting the first chain 3, you need to have a total of 8 double crochets. So we're going to count the chain 3 as a first double crochet. Now after you finish this, you need to go into the next chain space right here, and right into that you need to work 8 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And now you need to go into the next chain space and work 8 double crochets. Now this is a pattern you need to follow for the rest of this row. Into each of the chain 2 spaces of this row, you need to work 8 double crochets in each of these chain spaces. Now while you're working this row, your row will start to curl because of so many double crochets in the chain space. So that is a pattern you need to follow, 8 double crochets in each of the chain spaces of this row. After you complete your row, you need to join it with a slip stitch right here, right into the chain 3 that you started the row with. And now you need to work 1 double crochet right in between these 2 stitches. So you have your first chain 3 of your previous row, and next to that you have your double crochet. Right in between them you need to work 1 double crochet. Now you chain 1, you work the next double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets of your previous row. That's right here. Again chain 1, you work the next double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets. Chain 1, again 1 double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets. Chain 1, 1 double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets. chain 1, 1 double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets, chain 1, and here you have your last 2 double crochets of this shell that we made here. So right in between that you work a double crochet, and now you have a space where you finish your double crochets of your previous row. In this V-stitch we made 8 double crochets, a shell of 8 double crochets. So where that ends, right here you need to work 1 single crochet. And you need to continue working the next double crochet in between the next 2 double crochets, chain 1, and now you need to continue working the same pattern till you reach the end of this row. So in between each double crochet you need to work 1 double crochet and chain 1, and where you reach the space before the next shell here, right into that you need to work 1 single crochet. So continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. After you finish your row, you need to chain 1 and cut your yarn. Now we're going to join the next color, and for this row I'm using a different hook, a 3mm hook. This is the last row. I'm going to join the next color with the slip knot, and we're going to join it right here. You finished your row, and right here you have your last stitch here and the first double crochet. If you can see, this is your last stitch, or you can call it the first stitch that you started the row with, and you have your double crochet. Right in between that you need to join your color, and you need to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you work 1 single crochet in the next chain space. Again chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space. Again you work chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4. Now we've reached the end of this shell, and we have your single crochet here of the previous row. Now if you can see, you have 2 spaces here, 1 and 2. Before the next shell starts you have 2 spaces. Now right into the first one you work 1 single crochet, and into the next one you work 1 single crochet. So before the next shell starts you have 2 single crochets in between. Now you chain 4, you work 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, 1 single crochet in the next chain space, and now you need to continue working this pattern till you reach the end of this row. You need to chain 4, 1 single crochet, chain 4, 1 single crochet, chain 4, and you will reach the space again where you have your single crochet of your previous row. Right into that, in the first space you need to work 1 single crochet, second space 1 single crochet, and then you again start chaining 4, and you continue working this pattern till the end of this row. After you complete your row, you need to work a single crochet in the first stitch that you started your row with. And now you work a slip stitch right into the first stitch, the first blue stitch. You chain one, and now you can cut your yarn. We've completed working the coaster. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and happy crocheting.